I mean, like you don't just place soldiers everywhere, okay? Just zombies who are waiting for order. No, you monitor the movement of terrorists as they are moving. You get to know that okay, they've moved. This is their number and all of that. We're going to round them up when they get to that particular spot, and then you corner them, finish them. Use your own resources. Is that something too hard? Like if you have a security system that is not compromised, not corrupt with religious, tribal, and all this nonsense stuff that they have used to polarize the system, sure you get. Is that not practical? I mean, is that not practical? Eh? To say, okay, monitor the terrorists too. And then you corner them before they strike. But no, the terrorists have become so established that they have camps. Yeah. They are not moving. Their boys just go on. They will go and commit their crimes and they will come back to base. But they have camps. They said that to the military. Nigerian military, Nigerian security guys, they have been to the camp of the terrorist leaders led by Sheikh Osama bin Gumi. You know that guy? Sheikh Osama bin Gumi knows the location of this site. They are not really moving. And they go there to negotiate with them. So the intention is actually to end the terrorism. Do you get me now? Monitoring their movement and everything, their base and all that, isn't that going to be like easier than for them to be playing defensive? Because that's what Nigerian military, Nigerian army, that's what they are doing. They are playing defensive. When the terrorists come, you wait for our order. If you don't receive the order, don't fight. Oh. So when the terrorists come, if they are not coming for you, just leave them. If they are coming for you, you can run. And I'm saying this because we have seen it happen. Do you get me now? So compromised security system makes the business of terrorism flourish. So those who have taken these decisions, are they dumb enough to find that hard to see through, right? Or they are just accomplices? So I'll go with the latter. However, on this false theory, the likes of Akpabiole, who is the Senate president of the contraption, also went on a wild goose chase on this allegation of Christian genocide in Nigeria. In order to deny it, they created their own imaginary scenario and they are just running with it. Akpabiole said that there must be some people who went to go and lie to America about what is going on, and we need to listen.
Somebody suggested that we ought to have gone into executive session to discuss this, but I don't think we can win. No group can win any discussion on this because it depends on the state you are looking at. If terrorism occurs in a Christianly dominated state, most people that will die there will be Christians. If it occurs in a Muslim-dominated state, most of those who will die there will be Muslims. But if it occurs particularly in the North Central, you will notice that it will be targeted at maybe churches because that is what they are able to get. And then at the end, they will say, oh, it's Muslims that kill Christians. If it happens in Kano or Borno, they will say Christians kill Muslims. So the way the whole situation is that we still need to go into executive session and get a date for our security summit so we can have close discussion on these matters. what is happening in the United States is of concern to Nigeria. It's of concern to the Christians, it's of concern to the Muslims. Because the moment they bring sanctions will breed poverty. Poverty knows no religion. So for me, engagement will be the best. So when we go into executive session, we can decide to set up a small ad hoc committee to go to United States or America and engage our colleague parliamentarians there. And then to also educate them. Because if you see what these people are doing, most of them are outsiders. When they come and start spraying bullets from GP, what do you call it, or they throw rocket, they are not throwing rocket into the crowd targeting a particular religion. They are killing Nigerians. I don't know who will now go and sit down and bring out maybe the dead bodies and say, this one is a Christian, this one is from this family, this must be a Muslim. So we are facing a situation whereby these terrorists are trying to terminate the lives of Nigerians. And then, of course, frustrate us from going into the farms, producing food to feed ourselves. So this discussion will be better in a closed session. And I think at the end of the day, we should actually have a small team that should visit our colleagues and also put the other side. Because some people must have gone there to give a one-sided story. And at the end, it will now look as if only Christians are being killed by terrorists in Nigeria. But I can tell you that a lot of Muslims have lost their lives in the last 5-10 years. The same way Christians have also lost their lives. So my personal opinion is that Nigerians have lost their lives as a result of insurgencies, banditry, and others. So if you look at what is happening in the Southeast, predominantly Christians, most of those that are killed in the Southeast, including the late husband of our demised icon, Dora Akunyili, the way the man was shot dead and everything, will you come and ascribe that to religion? I'm talking about what IPOP is doing. You see brothers killing brothers. Okay, so the sit-at-home that is going on Mondays in the Southeast that has almost crippled the economy of the Southeast, is it targeted at Christians or Muslims? So Nigeria has complex security situations, and we should actually go out there and educate people so that they will know what to do. But when they just come out with a one-sided motion, it means they have a target, and that target is to strangulate the economy of Nigeria. That's my personal opinion. So it's left to us as a parliament to take proactive actions and be strategic in our response. If we stay here to give figures and instances where Muslims were killed or where Christians were killed, then we are not helping the situation. Ours should be, what do we do to ensure what Senator Jim Ibrahim said, counter terrorism? How do we respond to the guerrilla tactics of the terrorists, whether internal or external aggressors? So let's go into the prayers. Is there anybody that is opposed to this motion? Some
Nuisance lele. Nuisance lele.
Did you hear that? This is how they've trivialized it. Okay? We are all living witnesses for living witnesses of the Boko Haram rampage and their mission, which is purely about religion, how to turn Nigeria to a caliphate, which obviously a lot of people saw as a joke. How are you going to do that? But when it comes to the Fulani terrorists, they are not taking land in Sokoto. They are those who are killing. Yeah, okay. In the complexity of what you just said, right? You have Lakurawa, you have ISWAP. The ISWAP, Lakurawa, and Boko Haram, they are about religion. So in their own way, every community they have been to that are Muslim communities, or like, those who are like they're like Muslims, right? Most of them, we have seen videos, we have seen images, who have welcomed these guys, and somehow they have managed to avoid any form of a bloodshed there. But you see the Fulani terrorists, their own agenda, of course, it is not religion. Let's put that aside. However, their own target has been mostly the Christian communities, Christian towns, where people have had their churches burnt. Waiting concern Fulani, others, and burning down churches, burning down people's homes, and at the same time, settling down. In Kaduna, they have communities. The Fulani terrorists, after killing and ransacking the whole place, they renamed these communities. They appointed their own Seriki Fulani Emir or something in Kaduna. So they've had places where instantly, right? They've said that it's because of climate change that chased them from God knows where. So they needed to feed their cows. Nigerian government is offering to give them or asking people to part with their land to pacify these murderers. So yeah, the complexity and the killings, put it that way, the killings of Nigerians should have been so concerning, so paramount, and probably the priority of any responsible government. You would agree, Abi? So if we don't want to go ahead with the narrative of Christians are being killed or jihadists and all of that stuff, fine. Nigerians are being genocided inside Nigeria by terrorists who have now become so established that the only solution the Nigerian government have is to pacify them, rehabilitate the terrorists, give them money, and then make peace deal with these terrorists. This is their own solution. Let us give them lands where we can give them lands. And these are people who have guns. They don't even have any cow. So yeah, we may not push the narrative of Christians and all that. If that is easier to get everybody to know that, talking about it alone, like they have always been doing, right, has shown so well enough, right? It has shown that Nigerians are on their own. You're on your own, whether you are Christian or a Muslim or wherever. To these guys, so you are on your own. But you trust that when it is politically convenient, they are going to apply the card that they are Muslims, they are Christians. You know that. Abi, here is Ndume, one of them, with Sheung this evening.
No screening even. We are not even to do the screening. We are to do confirmation. You know what confirmation? Go and check. That's your problem.
Let me take you to why I invited you tonight.
Yeah.
You and your colleagues have decided that you are going to go to the United States and confront them. What will you be telling the lawmakers in the U.S.?
That what Ted Cruz and co said is not true. It's not true to say that Christians are being persecuted in Nigeria. It's not true. You know that it's not true. And thank God, you know, this thing came up from Ted Cruz, and it has been lingering around, dates back to 2020. And even if in fact, Donald Trump in his first designated us as a CPC, they call it CPC, that is country of particular concern, where a group of religion, believers of any type are being persecuted. That is the act, So that means sanctions would be applied. We had a feel of it when Nigeria wanted to buy the Tucanos. The Leahy, that time there was the Leahy law. It's now a retired senator, stopped us from there. It took the late president a lot of lobbying and some people to convince them that the terrorists have no religion concern about it. They just go about killing. and we needed it to kind of. Fortunately, during the tenure of Joe Biden, that we were removed from the CPC list. What Ted and Co are now trying to do because of the recent incidences in the country, and unfortunately again, when a particular reverend from Benue, went before the Congress, it started in the U.S. Congress before Ted Cruz case. Ted Cruz is coming up with a bill to design Nigeria specifically as CPC and also to impose certain sanctions. And this have far-reaching effect on not only Muslims, so to say, but Nigerians. Because that means as we are fighting this war, majority, almost all the things that we use at the Nigerian security, the Nigerian army and security agencies use come from overseas. We don't even manufacture a bullet in Nigeria. So you see, when you have sanctions against a country like that, when now even with those equipment, we're still battling with the issue of insecurity in the country, and it seems to be even spreading all over. So if you have that jack on this thing of clock of not having supply of what the armed forces need, I don't know. I don't want to imagine.
So it has a heavy implication. Not only our reputation, but our diplomatic relations.
But now, if you go to I don't know whether you're a citizen or not, but if you come into America and they see Sheung, they will start running a check, keep you, instead of you to spend like 15 minutes at the airport, it may take you a day, or it may not. You may not even be able to go in, because if they designate you as somebody of a particular concern or politically exposed, then.
Àmọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ tẹ́ gbé kalẹ̀ yìí ó dàbí ọ̀rọ̀ ẹni tí ọpọlọ rẹ̀ yòrò tàbí ẹni tí Ọlọ́run fi síbi aláṣà àwọn ọpọlọ rẹ̀ bí ọpọlọ ikú ó jọ má bẹ́ẹ̀ tọpọlọ rẹ̀ ò tó nǹkan rárá tàbí ètò wà ń bẹ kó má tiẹ̀ wúlò má rárá.
You see, this is how social engineering works, okay? And politicians are actors. I'll keep reminding us, okay? They are actors. It is so convenient, right, to point fingers, and at the same time to try to want to drive, what do you call it? Sympathy, kind of like a group sympathy, sort of. The actions of Nigerian politicians emboldened the terrorists in Nigeria, continues to embolden them, and the world sees it. There are those who have been fighting for the world attention that, listen, if to say Nigeria need help to fight these terrorists, that is not something out of place to say we need help. In fact, you could even seek this help by hiring mercenaries whose expertise is to face this kind of people, for the sake of showing that at least you have the intention. But in Nigeria, they will tell you that it is complex. Okay? When Goodluck Jonathan was killing these terrorists prior to your 2015 elections, right? There were many of their clerics, politicians, including the APC, Egbekegbe at the time, that said Goodluck Jonathan was killing northerners to reduce their population. And so many other stupid things they actually popped up that time that they pushed it to America. Nigeria got an arms embargo. Stopped Nigeria from accessing the needed weaponry. And immediately Boko Haram came in. The first set of people he sacked and terminated the arrangement with Nigeria were the mercenaries. They were South Africans. He terminated them and sent them out of Nigeria with immediate effect. First day Boko Haram got to power in 2015. I don't know if some of you remember that anyway. And then the rest, they say, so if Nigeria need help, the right thing is for your government to seek every help they need. Specialists, everything, get rid of these guys. Or would that be politically plausible? Is that going to be like a political landmine? So the lives of the people can then be used just for this political brickbat. Your lives become the ping pong, right? The ball on the table. So America, that is kind of like using that to say, if you are not going to act, well, there is a way we can probably deal with you by first dealing with those of you that have been identified as sympathizers of this terrorist. Those of you who are their financiers, those of you in government who have refused to actually act when it's mattered. And finally, those of you who are using your political office to push Sharia law in Nigeria, knowing very well that that seems to have been like settled. You've had a case where you have your Sharia north, where